Hey everybody, Zeidoktor here with Typical Manga Fan, and this week we just have one typical manga review episode to go to put up, and it's going to be dedicated to Bleach, chapter 667, Bigger, Louder, Stronger. And we're in some kind of like, not quite sure what it's supposed to be representing, but we see what it is pretty quickly. It's like, it's gone completely dark. Where am I? And then we see the little healing tube that Kenpachi was put in, like the lid was just like smashes right off. We also get a nice little fan coloring of Grim Joe taking out Askin's heart along the way on the manga stream.
And then we see someone arriving, and then we see Yumichika. I always say Chaka. Okay, Yumichika and Ikaku, seeing the Captain Kenpachi Zaraki arrive.
And he pulls a droopy on them by getting there long before they do.
You know what's really funny is that I'm confused. Why did we spend the first 2 pages of Kenpachi waking up and arriving? I mean, we know I think all of us know how he got healed, like because he was in that tube. So why do we and we saw him arrive last chapter? Why do we have to recap him arriving? I don't understand this.
At the very least, you don't need to spend 2 or 3 pages on it. You can easily condense down to 1 page.
Yeah.
1.5 tops.
Just show him there and then start fighting. I mean, we saw him come. We saw him arrive last chapter, and we all can assume why he's healed because of the Mayuri's machine. We saw that. They showed us that he was getting healed in the machine. You know. Anyway.
Yep. Meanwhile, Gigantor is screaming about his lost hand up until the point it regrows instantly.
Well, yeah, because lost limbs in Bleach is like.
Plus, it's his power. Like it miraculously regrew.
Yeah, but even if he wasn't his power, he'd get it back somehow.
Yep. And Nazi Gaia here is wondering just what happened. Well,
did you really just Nazi Gaia?
I did it last week too. You just didn't notice.
I didn't notice that. Okay, wow. Okay, well.
Byakuya just explained that's its ability. Anything that's wounded or decapitated regenerates and comes back stronger and more massive. Huh? So I'm guessing he was a lot smaller when this fight began, which causes a bit of an awkward moment. But you want to say something? Just your fixation on height is disturbing. And I'm reading that in the Mr. Spock voice.
And then Kenpachi's like, okay, well then I'll just keep cutting him because that's what all Kenpachi can really do.
That's actually gonna little sidetrack here if you don't mind, real quick. That kind of reminds me. There's a webcomic I read, The Order of the Stick. Like they actually go up against a Hydra. Like you cut off one head and 2 heads grow in its place. And they beat it by cutting it off its head so many times it gets weighed down by all the extra heads and can't move. Which kind of was what Kenpachi has in mind until Hitsugaya stops him.
Yeah, because he doesn't want him to basically give Gigantor more power.
That, and also like if he falls and crashes in the Soul Society, what happens then? Yeah. They've already got a bird flu infestation. Okay.
If someone... I like how you said if someone that massive fell from that height. Again, another height reference, man.
Well, it's Hitsugaya just thinking about these things. That's all.
Okay. So anyway, Kenpachi decides to lift Gigantor up by the foot.
Actually, wait. Before he does that, I do like this little line right here. It's like make him bigger than he is now. What do you think if he fell down? Hell if I know. I'd just be too busy falling down right alongside him, cleaving as we go. It's like, and
Kenpachi's not much of a thinker. He just slashes.
Well, while a lot of people decry it, I always love the fact that his most effective tactic was hold sword and bolt hands.
that was basically Kubo trying to find a way for not to use a Bankai to defeat Noitora, but not do the same thing over and over again.
Complain if you want to. I loved that.
Well, I thought that was hilarious. I mean, I actually kind of like that, but I mean, I'm just saying, like from hindsight, if you just think about it, like yeah, that was just basically him trying to figure out a way not to use a Bankai
or Shikai, as we find out here.
Yeah.
Anyway, like he topples over Gigantor, Gerard gets sent to falling down.
Yeah, so he takes out his I think Gigantor takes out his sword, which is a huge sword.
Well, he also blocks Kenpachi with his shield. So.
Yeah, that too. Actually, it kind of looked. Well, oh yeah, he does. Because it kind of looked like he just took out the shield. But yeah.
Well,
so,
he had the sword inside the shield.
Yeah. No, it's just because I totally missed the bottom panel, which actually showed him blocking. Yeah. Because the next panel showed him just falling back with the shield. But yeah, he blocked the shield. He blocked it with the shield, and he took the sword out of the shield, and then he's like, you're pretty powerful. You got some sea strength there. But since you're the type that only takes pleasure in sadistic acts of cruelty,
that's our Kenpachi.
For a powerful incantation of darkness such as yourself, I suppose it is fitting that I allow my Hoffnung, which means Sword of Hope.
Well, specifically, the way I'm understanding the translator note,
it's written with Sword of Hope and means hope. There.
Yeah, the kanji say Sword of Hope.
Yeah. So to rust just a bit. So basically, he, as like every Quincy, thinks he's the holy angel.
Yep. He's the.
So yeah.
He's the 26th coming. Yeah. And Kenpachi says he's something like he tried to cut and failed, and just thinks, oh, I still want to cut that.
Yeah. So he's getting amped up, and then he releases his Zanpakuto, Drink Noza Rashi. And then everyone sees his Shikai, and they're like, "Wait, that is his Shikai?" And so
Ichigo's like, "When the hell did that happen?"
Well, when Unohana died. By the way, does anyone actually realize that Unohana's dead? I just realized that. Does anyone actually realize that?
I think only her second in command, because he left her that letter.
Yeah, and the same thing with Yachiru probably knows that too. But yeah, if you think about it, that you lost
yeah.
But because she wasn't there, so aren't they just like, where the hell's Unohana?
Yeah,
okay, well.
And this prompts Byakuya to realize that their thought that Kenpachi's sword was an always released Shikai like Ichigo's was incorrect.
But he actually further corrects it by saying the constantly released form that we saw never existed to begin with. Which is like, wait, what does that mean? What is that trying to say? Because I think still see it.
I think the idea was just that he always just used like an unreleased sword this entire time.
So basically, he thought it was a Shikai, but in reality, it was just simply a sealed sword.
Yeah, or an unreleased sword. Yeah, and then
okay.
Yep, and then at that moment, like they clash blades. Kenpachi sends Gigantor's Gigant blades flying off, or at least deflects it, and Gigantor gets pissed because his sword's got a nick.
Yeah,
and we get and Kenpachi's been cut in half.
Yeah, that doesn't that probably won't do anything.
It's Kenpachi.
Hey, is Kenpachi's eye? Is his eye patch off, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, when did he take it off? Excuse me.
Barring artistic error, let's see. Let me scroll back a little bit. Let's see here. Actually, what side does he normally wear the eye patch on? Is it the right eye?
He had it on page 9.
Oh, go to page 15. Like from that moment on, you're not seeing his right eye at all until that page. So it looks like he undid the eye patch when he released his Shikai.
Yeah, why do they specifically? Oh yeah. So yeah, there you go. He took his eye patch off. Right. Yeah,
like page 5, like you can see his left eye, and then once you can't really see his eyes very well when he has this thing released.
Yeah, but you see the right eye completely on page 18.
Well, yeah, and then on 17, like the right eye is blocked again.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
In the anime, I guess I'm assuming that in the anime it would be a lot more hyped up, showing like hiding it and then showing, oh, now he's actually at full power. So yeah,
for all the good dozen.
Well, you know, here's the problem I have with the eye patch thing is I thought the entire development of his character with the battle against Unohana was showing that he shouldn't be holding back. So why is he holding back with the eye patch? I thought the eye patch was supposed to represent something that he should be.
You know, I'm wondering now if maybe the eye patch is more
over with now. You know.
Yeah, hang on.
His whole character, like.
Hang on. Wait. You cut off. You might want to repeat that last little part. You cut off a bit.
Okay. So his entire character has always been about putting limiters on himself, right? And so when he fought with Unohana, it was supposed to show that he can't do that anymore. So why is he still using the eye patch?
One thought that comes to my mind is maybe the eye patch is like a trigger for the Shikai. Like maybe it would be a constantly released Shikai if he had the eye patch off. I mean, it still seems kind of pointless, but it's just a random thought that hits my mind.
I thought he still had to say drink Nozarashi. I don't know.
Well, they always have the enchantment, the incantation, but still.
Yeah, I thought you needed that to release the Shikai unless you have Bankai, but he doesn't have one so far, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, we basically have two guys who are attacking each other. See, so of course last week we were theorizing what Kenpachi's Shikai powers were, other than just I think his current Shikai powers are just simply cut everything, right?
I mean,
Like,
pretty much, so pretty much like his normal power, but amped up.
I mean, yeah, it is essentially the same thing. But if that's the case, then he's actually the worst possible opponent to fight Gigantor, isn't he?
He doesn't think so.
Well, I mean, that's the point, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if, like I said, there could be something to it. Like, maybe there is something where, like, you can overpower his regeneration. But that doesn't seem like too likely in this case. I have seen that played a few times, like, over damaging him to the point that regeneration can't keep up or wears down. But this doesn't seem like it.
I feel like for a fight this caliber, I think something that's that basic is kind of just disappointing, you know?
But it is Kenpachi.
Yeah, okay, so Shigai's special ability is just to increase his slicing power to the point where he can cut through space itself. So basically, he can cut through mostly everything. Which is basically what he's been doing. So I've always thought that his Zanpakuto, in its like the release date we saw it before, was actually like a half release date. Like it was so powerful that it kind of got half released, but the other half couldn't be released because he still needed to know the name. Because the only other full release that we had was Ichigo, and we learned that that's not really his Zanpakuto, that was his Quincy. However, his new Zanpakutos are still in their release dates, so it's still technically the same thing for him.
So, we're assuming that anyway, but yeah, I think it's a safe presumption.
Well, I mean, that's a sealed sword is always going to look like a normal sword, so Ichigo's is way too unique looking to be a sealed state.
True.
So that's got to be a Shikai, and he can use Getsuga Sensho too. You can't use. You're not supposed to be able to use special abilities with a sealed sword, so it's every signs are pointing to Ichigo already having a Shikai, meaning that his is still full release. But with Kenpachi, yeah, it was always weird that he was able to release it even without the name. But then it's like, oh well, I guess it was kind of like half release, where it's like you can only release it, he can only release it as much as his power gave him, but the name was still necessary.
Yeah, it looks like here it is mostly just a power boost. Like, I'm looking at the Bleach wiki real quick. It's a tremendous power boost, and its cutting power is greatly enhanced, allowing him to cut through the bodies of his opponents and even through space itself, like you just said. Yeah,
I mean, I was reading the Bleach wiki.
Oh, okay.
So I guess so when Byakuya was talking about the fact that it never existed to begin with, was that just saying that he thinks that the released sword was actually just simply his sealed, and that just no one knew what the hell was wrong with what was up with Kenpachi the entire time? Is that basically what he's saying?
I think that's what Byakuya is saying right there. Like basically, my takeaway was they were always assuming Kenpachi's sword was always on the release, like just like Ichigo's always is.
Well, you shouldn't assume stuff, okay? I mean, assumptions don't get you.
It makes an ass out of you and me, basically.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I guess the reason why was that his sword was always different than the other sealed sword states, and he was so powerful that I just kind of assumed. But it's like, well, he had no special ability, so it's kind of like, well, I mean.
Somehow, I don't. With Kenpachi's personality, I wouldn't really call that a factor one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone else though, when they examined his powers, why didn't they just? I guess they just assumed that it was so powerful that it had to be a Shikai. But it's sort of like, well, yeah. I don't know. I've seen powerful. I mean, you've seen what Isshin Kurosaki could do with a sealed state sword. So I don't know. But maybe because it looks so different, that's probably why too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it had no special ability. So I mean, if I was Byakuya or Yamamoto when I was like looking at his sword, I'd be like, well, is this really a Shikai or is a just a really powerful sealed sword? But whatever. So we now know that this is true Shikai.
Yep.
And so a lot of people in the comments are talking about Yachiru or Yachiru, how do you say his name?
Actually, the first comment I saw was near the top was like, we've gotten so used to this series handing out cliffhangers like cheap cigars that I actually almost didn't feel anything this time. I mean, they won't kill Jiraki, given how he just showed up after his 20 millionth time almost dying. So pretending we're all going to be shocked at happening is kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
Okay, so you said they were missing Yachiru on here?
Well, I remember reading it when I first read it, like a few days ago. So they could be all the way down. But I mean, I know people are talking about the Yachiru thing. I know that. People are probably thinking that this may be her comeback, because remember she disappeared the last time he used the sword.
Weren't people assuming that he was Yachiru, some kind of like form of the sword, kind of like
Yeah,
Stark.
yeah. So that's why they felt that when he unlocked the sword, Sheik went back into it, and then became the Shikai. Because they're saying, well, like, I mean, she's been with him for like ever, and how can she survive? You know, the 8th division. I'm like, well, she had immense spiritual pressure already. She could probably just killed everyone by herself.
Yeah.
You know, that's not really hard to believe in a world like Bleach.
Nope.
But yeah, but the fact that she disappeared without her clothes, I mean, let's face it, we're not gonna expect Yachiyo just gonna run around naked. That's and honestly, for someone of her age, or someone who looks like what she looks like, because I know Shinigami are older than they look like, but we're not gonna be seeing that. So
yeah.
I think from just that alone, we can assume that she's some type of power of Kenpachi, you know.
Yeah, I would almost kind of think that would be neat, so I'm not quite sure what to expect out of that. But again, she has her own Zanpakuto with its own Shikai.
No, but no, that's not actually true. She never actually used any call. She just said, "Hey, come out," but she never actually released anything.
At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised that with her personality, that's just her.
Well, first off, what the hell are the things that she was around with her, like the imaginary stuff, like her like invisible friends? Like, what are they? You know, what if Yachiru was the spirit of Kenpachi, then what the hell were the animals or the creatures that she was using to fight? Are they also an extension of Kenpachi? You know, or is he able to use that ability? Is that his Bankai essentially to like release Yachiru back into the world of reality and just like you know?
Oh God, I hope not. Because the fact is, if that were the case, we're gonna get like it's gonna be a Nell situation all over, and I guarantee you, if that's what it is.
You mean where he would like run out?
No, where we have like little kid Nell, and then we have like big voluptuous Nell.
Oh no, that's disgusting.
No, yeah, I do that. No, thank you.
I mean, Nell's hot, like, as Nell Yell, but yeah, the Nell to Nell Yell was kind of like. I mean, I saw that coming, but it's just kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
We've gotten way too used to Yachiru being a little kid to really get attracted to her as an adult. This is ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, that's gonna be something there.
But yeah, but I mean, then you could. I mean, obviously, if he releases her as in his Bankai or whatever, it's gonna obviously be strong because otherwise it'd just be the same thing as before. Like that's like saying his Bankai has been out the entire time. You know, that's not, obviously that can't be true.
Yeah.
So there has to be some type of enhancement. So I'm assuming that if maybe I guess when he uses Bankai, she comes out as an adult. I don't know. And she fights alongside him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do one of those unexpected things and make his Bankai be like Keto type or something? Because
that would actually be kind of hilarious, but I doubt it.
Well, I mean, it's hilarious, but then in terms of you know, the battle, it just wouldn't fit with Kenpachi's style. So it's not like he's gonna adapt to it in the middle of a fight, right? I mean, especially with something like Keto, he can adapt to anything that's combat based. But if it's Keto, he's gonna have a hard time. So, well, first off, Kenpachi's not using 2 hands, so we gotta wait for that.
Yeah, that's true. That is one thing we gotta see here.
Then after that, he'll have to use his okay. Every piece of logic says unlocking a Bankai in the middle of a fight is kind of that doesn't abide by the rules, even by the broken rules that Ichigo kind of made. But at this point, Kubo's just making shit up as he goes along. So I don't know. Maybe Kenpachi's like the one exception who can actually unleash his Bankai mid-fight.
Maybe.
Or maybe he did unleash his Bankai. I don't know. He used it before.
It could even be that it may even be that maybe it's his Bankai after all, but I kind of doubt that.
No. This is not his Bankai. They're not doing that. They're still. That means he's already at his maximum capacity. That's not true. No,
true.
This is just a Shikai.
I mean, you're right. The Bankai worked once and it wouldn't work again. So yeah, you're right. This is his Shikai. We got to fail his Shikai first. You're right.
Keep in mind that Kubo he actively tries not to make characters use up their full power. So if he can find an excuse for them not to do that, he would take it. So that means if Kenpachi's just unleashing his Shikai, he would definitely take that. There's no way in hell, knowing the way Kubo rides, knowing the way everything that he's been doing so far for these many years, he would give a Bankai that quickly to Kenpachi if he could just give a Shikai instead. You know. Remember, Kubo's tactic is delay. So if giving a Bankai that quickly would accelerate, if anything. That's the opposite of Kubo.
Yeah, what I'm wondering now is where's everybody else? I mean, you're right, because that would be the easiest way to delay this, is bring in the other people that were fighting this guy.
So, so I'm assuming that they got injured because they're the weaker members. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Renji is not as strong as Byakuya, right?
Right.
I mean, I think we can. I mean, he's still. I don't think he's as powerful as Byakuya. And then Shinji's lost like every fight. This is yeah, no.
Yeah.
Where he might come back and use his holo powers out of nowhere, and you know, maybe we don't even get the explanation why. But yeah, for now it's just these three. Although we do have Fullbringers that we still have yet to use.
True.
They'll be Ginjo, Giriko, and Tsukishima.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really know how is it. Can you think of any way to beat Gigantor?
I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, Kenpachi might end up having the right idea, but it seems weird in this case. Like,
okay, so like,
because like I said, there is the thing it's making me think of is a fight in Rave Master. You probably don't know this series, so I'm going to explain it.
No, I watched Rave Master and I read it.
If you watch the anime, then you if you read the manga, you might know this part. Do you know a character named Hardener?
I recognize the name, but
basically his power was a dark bring that could regenerate any injury, and we had one character fight him to a standstill, like fight him really hard for a long time, but he lost because he's not the Haru, like, you know, not main character. But
I know Haru's.
Yeah, right. It wasn't Haru who fought him, so that guy lost. However, all the damage he did in the course of the fight had worn him down enough that the regeneration power had weakened. Like the regeneration power had started to run out of steam, basically. So basically, it did take both of them to win the fight. So Haru was able to actually like win because of that.
Okay. Well, we can't base it off of some type of regeneration limit because we have no proof of that for this guy. What we can say is
the very nature of his power would kind of suggest otherwise, anyway.
Well, sorry?
The very nature of his power, the miracle, would suggest otherwise. Like that there's no limit to it. Like it would just keep happening.
We can argue that maybe he gets so powerful that he can't control the power within himself.
True. Alternatively, maybe he won't get his miracle if he tries to rely on it. Like he.
Too much. Sort of like the luck guy from Forbinger, right? The more he uses powers, the less likely he would.
Yeah. 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 I said, or like, kind of going back to the Discworld reference. There's like a goddess for Lady Luck, but she hates it when people actually try to invoke her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the weakness is the idea of what a miracle means, like how you can use it.
If it happens too often, it's no longer a miracle.
Yeah.
Which could well mean that Kenpachi does have the right idea.
Another one is okay. I'm assuming that just killing him before he heals is kind of like a very basic, kind of too bland of a way to destroy him.
Byakuya decapitated the guy. I don't think that's going to do it.
Sorry?
Byakuya decapitated the guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kill him every piece of him, like kill like how they kill Cell, you know, like kill everything you possibly can, so that way there's nothing to come back from.
I think he's too big for that to really be an effective option, unless maybe Ichigai can flash freeze him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of too. Or they might just seal him and make it so that he can't ever move again, like they kill him Hidan style, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that point just gets kind of ridiculous. But I think maybe the true answer lies in the concept of what a miracle is. And it's kind of, it might be a little too close to the Formiga guy, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, we're basically copying at least the structure of the Yemi fight so far, but maybe this is the one that can actually be done right because the Yemi fight was so.
Wasn't it off screen?
Yeah, it was. A lot of it was off screen. We only came back whenever they argue with each other, and it was just like you're fighting the Cero Espada, you know. By the way, Kenpachi, Kenpachi had a tough time with the 5th Espada. Byakuya had a tough time with the 7th Espada, but that's because of certain circumstances. But still, the gap in power must be huge, right? So he wasn't exactly dominating against the 7th Espada, and Kenpachi wasn't dominating against the 5th Espada, and yet both of them are just nonchalantly attacking the Cero Espada. I mean, I'm having a hard time believing that was a Cero Espada, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, now that this maybe Kubo heard the criticism about the Yami, and he's like, okay, I'll do Gigantor and like I'll do it right or something. I don't know.
Or at least I'll do it again.
Well, do it. Oh. No, just do it again. Like he doesn't regret what he did with Yami.
Or if he's gonna try and do it right, and no. You want to know what thought?
Try to do it right.
You want to know a thought that occurred to me sometime last week? I can't remember if I brought this up with you, but it definitely was not on record, though. The Stern Raider are German-based, Nazi-based, etc., right?
Yeah.
Wait, question. My question on this, though, is why did they use the English alphabet?
Yeah. I remember you asking me that.
Yeah. Because I know the German alphabet is at least not the same.
Is the German alphabet longer or shorter? That might be the difference.
Well, not sure about longer or shorter, but I'm almost certain it has different syllables. Or different letters in there.
I think he might try to, like, if there's less letters in the German alphabet than there are in the English, then that explains it probably, that he wanted to use as many letters as possible. He might be trying to...
Looks like about a little bit more, like at 30. Because I just got a little thing of the German alphabet up in front of me here. And along with our letter, like the English letters, there's like vowels with the little double dots over them. What looks like a beta sign.
Well, anyway,
yeah.
So, well, first off, what I was gonna say was we know they're based off the Germans. Because I don't know much about the German uniform.
Right.
I mean, we make fun of the fact they look like Nazis, but
right.
I don't want to, out of not knowing what the German uniform looks like, just say that, So they're definitely German based, but we don't actually know specifically if they're based off of Nazis or off some other uniform.
Yeah, I mean, actually, but at the very time, saying like the general idea behind the Quincy, like the Vandenreich, the Warvault.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
all the language like the language they use, like the Soul Society is Japanese, Hueco Mundo is Spanish, and these guys were German.
Yeah, what I'm just saying is, like, it seems very the fact I don't know. I feel like people are a lot of times in a lot of popular culture or in people that we associate Germans with Nazis, and I feel like that's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mostly thought Nazi because it's the Vandenreich.
Well, let's face it. Just from someone who's not German, it looks very Nazi-esque. But I'm just saying that maybe they're based off of another type of uniform, because Nazi uniform had to come from somewhere, right?
Right.
So maybe there's a similarity to the normal.
I'm not even caring about the uniform in general. I don't even really care about that.
Now you're talking about like the way they act. I mean, they have.
Well, no, wait, I don't even. Like I said, Nazi Gaia joke aside, I'm not. When I say that they're German based, I'm mostly just talking. Well, maybe the uniform is part of it, but mostly just from the fact that a lot of their stuff is Germanic based, like their languages that they use in their.
No. They're German based. No, that's true. They are German based. I'm just saying that we should probably be careful in saying that they're Nazi based. That's a little.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we joked about it, but you're right.
Well, but I will say this though, that they have very Nazi-esque mentalities where they kill each other because they want to purify everything,
racial
and they're only about the
that,
strongest. Yeah, and they kill anyone who's considered like the weaker members just for the hell of it. They don't really value their lives very much at all. They just it's all about getting stronger, about the bigger picture. They have very they basically had a holocaust of the Rancars essentially, right? They would capture them and they would break them mentally down physically, and they would just kill and torture them all.
Yeah. Though I will say, in fairness to the Quincy, at least they had a reason for doing that.
I mean, it is very.
For them, there was, at least for the Quincy, for the Hollows, at least there was a pragmatic reason for it. They actually were a legit threat to them.
But they also doing the same thing with the Shinigami, and like the Nazis. I mean, not the Nazis. The Quincy's, they still have a very "I'm superior to all of you people" type of mentality.
Yeah.
So they are very Nazi-esque.
They don't like the half breeds.
They don't like the half breeds. That's true. They had a. Didn't they even have something that was basically the same thing as like a final solution, where they basically
essentially
they even used. I think they even used like the purge or whatever. So like that,
basically, it killed any Quincy that was not full blooded, except for I think Uryu was the only one of those that survived.
And Kenpachi and Ichigo.
Yeah.
Ichigo's technically. Yeah.
Yeah, but Ichigo's justified by having everything else.
Yeah, and I think his Quincy powers were not active, so they were probably like in hiding. So they, but yeah, it's a very and of course the angels thing. I mean, they see themselves as holy beings. I mean, it is very racist in essence. And I mean that they don't like Shinigami, they don't like Hollows. They just care about themselves. And I'm assuming that they don't give a shit about normal humans either, because they want to destroy the world and everything. So I'm assuming that's what kids do. So while I don't want to specifically go to the Nazis too quickly,
they don't have their case.
Yeah, they don't have their case. There's evidence for it. I'm sure if there's any German, would probably agree that they were Nazis. I mean, the evidence does point to it, but I'm just saying, like, until we actually really have evidence, like actually confirmed everything, we should probably avoid having too many Nazi comparisons on a serious note. I mean, we can still make Nazi jokes, right? We can still say Nazi Gaia, like that's
Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like in terms of actual serious talking and analysis and all that stuff, we should probably avoid the Nazi thing.
Especially since most of them are kind of dead now. So yeah, after this we'll pretty much just have Ewok, won't we?
Yeah. They're also very brutal in the way they kill people. So
yeah,
that too.
They're very like Darwin-esque and like survival of the fittest.
So yeah, they're very Darwin-esque, and that I think that's the word I was trying to look for. Was that makes them very Nazi in terms of their mentality. So yeah.
All right. So little side discussion there, but that has been our. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that though, or are you good to go?
No, I'm good.
All right. In that case, that has been our review of Bleach, chapter 667. See here. Bigger, louder, and stronger. And yeah, I think that about fits Gigantor pretty well. Go ahead and take us away.
Bye.